We want all of it to go, which also means that every single investigation that you do is turned inwards. It's not like with nihilism where there's a meaningless universe and life out there and me here almost being a victim experiencing it. We want you to ask, what is that sensation of a me feeling like a separate self, experiencing the vast universe as empty and void? Where is that differentiation between the two? What is that feeling about with a separate self here looking out to the meaninglessness out there? So the seeker, the one that believes itself to be a separate self, is becoming the point of inquiry, is becoming the subject of inquiry. And what you will find is that that separate self, the thinker that is thinking these thoughts, is the same as the experience. The thinker is a thought too. The experiencer is the experience. There's not a separation of the two. There is no in here and out there. There is just one undivided arising experienced. And the experience and the experiencer are not separate, since the experience can only be experienced by the experiencer, which makes the experiencer the experience. It's the causes and conditions in this meat suit that is creating a certain perception about the experience. That means that the experience is subjective to the meat suit that is experiencing in a certain way. And you know that. If I wake you up at 3 a.m. and you haven't had your coffee, if you have your period, if you're menopausal, if somebody just startled you and you have like that rush of adrenaline in your body, your reactions will be different. So what is the result of the Buddhist non-duality is an immense relief. Because what you do in your dismantling, when you dismantle every single underlying belief, is that immense freedom. There is an arising happening in this moment. If there's no attachment to that arising doesn't have to be in a certain way. It doesn't have to be experienced in a certain way. Doesn't need to be the clever one sitting and saying lots of clever things. You don't need to be, presenting yourself in any way. That is just an arising right now. And in that, there's so much freedom. Because you're setting yourself free, you're setting everybody else free too. They are allowed to be in the world the way that they are. You are allowed to be in the world the way that you are. There is nothing that needs to be any different. And the main reason is that you're no longer holding anything in comparison. Whatever is arising is okay as it is. There's not a wish for anything to be any different than it is right now. And there's a deep, deep understanding that it can't be. So that super exhausting, never-ending defending of the separate self is just gone. It ends. There is no longer any trying to present yourself in a certain way, because you simply do not believe the thoughts anymore. Thoughts are still arising, obviously. Feeling and emotions are still arising, but there's no belief in them. There's more a curiosity towards it. It's more you becoming an anthropologist that are noticing what is arising in this moment. There's no truth in any of it besides what you just placed there. What if you don't place that truth? Then there's just an arising. And anything that is arising cannot be anything but okay. It's okay. And I don't mean positive okay. I don't mean negative okay either. I just mean absolutely neutral okay. And that is where I'm saying that the only feeling you can have is contentment. And I mean neutral contentment. There is not any negative thought in it. There's no positive thought in it either. There's just a pure being, that childish being with the arising that is presenting itself right now. And that means that suffering ends. The next level of suffering is because you wish for something to be different than it is, which it can't be. This moment is presenting itself the way that it's presenting itself. You cannot have any opinion about that. You can, but all of your suffering is in that. And if you look deeper into why you have an opinion about that, why you think that you know what would be better than what is arising right now, you can also see the arrogance in that. And that in its own dissolves a lot of suffering. There's no longer any resistance to what is arising. There's not even resistance to the resistance. There's an absolutely okayness with whatever is arising. So it seems a bit like that the difference is that nihilism is when there's a character in a movie that is suffering, believing in all of that drama. Like said Deadpool, is believing in all of the drama that is happening. That is nihilism, suffering in that. Where when we talk about Buddhist non-duality and we talk about anatta, it is becoming aware that there is a noticing of what is arising. It's basically becoming aware that the movie you're sitting and watching on a screen is a projection that is happening on a flat, white canvas. Every emotion you have with that is created subjectively here. There is an experiencing in this moment, but there's no suffering with the character because the character is not there. It's all made up.